Good day, all, and welcome to the Spirits of Society of Virginia. And we welcome you on this beautiful hot day. As you all know, we start our meetings off with an initial reading, and today's reading is from The Way, the Truth, and the Life from the Spirit Emmanuel, of course, through the mediumship of Francisco Quindito Javier. And today's chapter reading is number 114, entitled Letters from Christ. Paul's second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 3, verse 3, was written, "You have shown that you are letters from Christ, the result of our ministry, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, not on tablets of stone, but on tablets of human hearts." Then Emmanuel has written, "It is remarkable that the Master did not bequest to the world a compendium of principles written in his own hand. Noteworthy figures have always marked their stay on the planet by leaving to posterity their message of wisdom and love, either on tablets of stone or aged documents. Such was not the case with Jesus, however. The Master made it a point to write his doctrine for humankind by inscribing it on the hearts of his sincere followers. His spiritual testament consisted of teaching to his disciples, but he did not write them down himself. Human means would not have been sufficient to reveal the eternal richness of his message. Human writing and reasoning usually leave room for controversy. In view of this, Jesus inscribed his teachings on the hearts of those who surrounded him. And even nowadays, disciples who are faithful to him are his divine letters to humankind. These living documents of the sanctifying love of Christ are very much alive in all religions and all climes. They are the pioneers who know about the greater life. They have experienced the sublime contact with the Master and have become his message to humanity. There may be many controversies surrounding the most famous and lovely physical writings. However, for the soul that has become a living letter from the Lord, even if there are no lofty vibrations of comprehension, there will always be the divine silence.
Right. Let us feel the presence of the good spirits with us, helping us dear spirit doctors, nurses and therapists, directors of the Spiritual Society of Virginia, and cardiac radio. We feel your presence, loving and kind, bringing to us the balance that we need, new awareness. We feel your loving hands touching our heads, blessing us, encouraging us to more, to better understanding, and to open ourselves to service. We visualize all those who have their names in the book of prayer. Everyone here present, incarnates and discarnates, both online and in the center presentially. Nourishing themselves with the banquet of life, immortal life. as we drink the living water that shall sustain us in all of our experiences. Thank you, dear loving spirits, for your kindness. May this session be deeply therapeutic for us, restoring our mental, physical energies, enveloping all of our loved ones in the feelings of kindness that shall be deeply healing for all of us. With your guidance, dear God, feeling your protection, we begin our service today. And so be it. All right. Yes. So our children will go with Miss Carol, Miss Daisy. Sure. And all right. Today we're going to talk about spiritual intercession. We are going to talk about a chapter in the book Missionaries of the Light by Andre Luiz. Andre Luiz, through Chico Xavier, wrote the first book, Nosso Lar, Our Home, and then The Messengers, then Missionaries of the Light. So there is a specific chapter, chapter 11, that talks about spiritual intercession. So beautiful, because it's going to tell us what happens when you and I pray. Do our prayers actually get to be answered? And is there a particular type of request that is more, it's going to trigger greater intercession, help from the spirits? It's a good question. So in this chapter, I'm going to pinpoint a few parts of this chapter because the chapter has almost 40 pages. Just so we see the description by Andre Luiz. He was so kind in bringing to us this book, especially this chapter. So the story is the following. Andre Luiz is in the spiritual realm, talking and learning with the other spirits, and then suddenly he sees two women coming along to talk to the instructor. One of them is a widow. And let me tell you, I can tell you the names, though, the names are always funny in the book. So, even in Portuguese, they're funny. Funny in the sense they're very different. So, it's not like as common as we think. So, Alexander is the mentor. That's an easy one. And then the women come, and the main one is Etelvina. So, she comes and she talks to him, talking about the fact that when she's incarnated, she has 3 kids, her husband died. She wants to know how he's doing. Can we ask that question? Is it okay to ask the good spirits for information on loved ones who departed? Is it okay? Of course it is. Why shouldn't we? Right? Of course. Of course. She wanted to know, but it wasn't mere curiosity. She wanted to know because he died in a tragic way. It was a gunshot. She thought he committed suicide, that he was murdered. Nobody knew why. Why? She still has 3 kids and an uncle and an aunt who are elderly and are under her care. Now she has to provide for 6, including herself. How does she do it? Fair enough. She's going to ask a question. What do I do now? Is there a specific direction? So it's fair that we ask. If we go to the Spirit's book by Kardec, in the first part that talks about spiritual intervention, there is a specific section that talks about guardian angels. And St. Augustine himself complements an answer by saying that the good spirits, the guardian angels, the protecting spirits are never tired of us, of our questions. Actually, he says we should ask them the questions that we have. But the question is, are we ready to listen? Because of course they're going to reply. Not necessarily in the way that we expect. Not telling it, this is the lottery number. Just go and make your life. No, they're not going to do this. Though there are people who actually go to psychics to ask for lottery numbers and more. And we don't judge, because you can ask whatever question, but don't be upset if the spirits answer questions that are wrong, because now we're going to see. Do you think they know it all? Do we think that Mentor Alexander knows the answer where her husband is? Where is Raul? So the first thing, she's there, and Alexander says, Etelvina, my friend, everywhere sincere affliction is worthy of help, where there is suffering, we find ourselves a way to offer true cooperation. So, is our affliction sincere? Yesterday, I was in a place where there were lots of kids. And there was a girl who simply became upset about something. It's like, I didn't like this. And it wasn't a sincere affliction, because she created the affliction herself. The adults could see it. So there are afflictions that we create. Like one person one day told me, I'm so upset with my companion because he didn't buy me the phone that I wanted. But he bought your phone, right? Yeah. But you wanted another phone. So is it like a true affliction? She's creating afflictions. We create afflictions. So today, the first thing we need to ask, the hurts, the wounds that we think we have, the afflictions that we have, are they sincere? Are they truthful? Or are they mere whims? We need to ask. Because sometimes we're just like spoiled kids. I want that. And we go through a life thinking of achieving something that we're not supposed to do. And we're just frustrating ourselves out of nothing. But because my friends have that car, so I need to have a Porsche, because my friends have a Porsche. There are people like this. No, but I have to travel too. This summer, everybody's talking about it, so I do have to travel. No, people are buying Teslas. Like, it's the most popular car in Northern Virginia. Believe me. Unbelievable. The most popular car. It's not a Toyota Corolla, it's a Tesla. So now we can measure where we're living, right? And then, I have to have a Tesla too. And then we feel afflicted because we go to sleep and we don't buy the Tesla that everybody has. Is that a sincere affliction? So he goes on and says, don't worry, we'll find out. Then Andre Luiz, as funny as he is, that's why we like to read his books, because his mind just like ours. Like he says, Alexander, can't we just evoke, like call mentally on Raul? And Alexander said, people on earth think that we, the spirits, know it all. We're fortune tellers. But we don't, not even Mentor Alexander. You think any spirit will know everything? No. So that's why many people come to spiritist centers and they say, my loved one died. How come you have messages from everybody but my loved one? Well, because there are reasons why. And it's not on us. It's on the spirits. The permission to come, the permission to deliver the message. Now we're married to receive the message. So he says, no, we can't do this. In certain cases, they can when the spirits are higher. But Raul, is he a spirit? Is he free just to come? Where is he? So, Etelvina has 3 kids. She's living with the uncle. The uncle and aunt are living with her. And the husband was murdered. Now, where is he? What do they do? By means of Alexander's intermediations, would it be possible for Etelvina to dream about her companion in order to obtain news directly from him and to let him feel the tenderness they still nurtured for him at home? Because of her small children and an elderly aunt and uncle who depended on her, the anguished widow found herself in a terrible financial bind as a result of her unexpected widowhood. So she asks, and he says, be calm and brave, my friend. It's not possible to explain things at this moment, he says to her. It's imperative to investigate with care in order to solve the problem with due diligence. So go home and rest your oppressed mind. So she is sleeping, and during sleep, she's asking this question. When you go to sleep, not now, don't go to sleep now, because that doesn't work. If we go to sleep now in the center, it's the opposite. We're not receiving the help of the good spirit. So when we are home and we are going to sleep at night, where do we go? What do we do? Do you use this time wisely? Should we? No, it's a must. It's what we call intelligent sleep. We can maximize our lives' achievements by using our sleep time more wisely. If I go to sleep and spend those hours doing good things, learning, being treated, and helping, when I wake up, my life is completely different. So he says, go home, rest. There are troubles that are not solved by the power of world's reasoning. It is indispensable to know the refuge of prayer, entrusting them to the Supreme Father. Lean on sincere faith. Trust in providence, and we shall see what can be done regarding information for eternal help. We will carefully examine the issue. Did you see his approach? He didn't say, trust in me, pray for me, because I have seen people who go to spiritist centers and mediums who give way to spirits who say, trust in me. The superior spirits that say that, they are not superior. They say, trust in God, pray for God. They don't say, pray for me. So we have to know, like in the medium's book, how to identify the spirits we're communicating with. They will never say, pray for me, create a cult for me. No, they always, like Jesus, refer to God. Trust in God. Okay, so what happens next? Alexander and a group, including Andre Luiz, go visit Etelvina's home. Are you ready for the surprise? Because Andre Luiz was surprised. It's shocking. Think of a small home and the dining table. When they enter, this is unbelievable. And you can go to the book and read it again later. The poor widow's house was located on a modest street. Although they had a relative comfort, it seemed to be inhabited by many spirits of an inferior nature. Now we're shocked, like, okay, we don't have drug dealers living there. We don't have drug addicts. We don't have sex addicts. Who is living there? A widow, 3 children, and an elderly couple. So how come many inferior spirits are in that home? You see? Think about this. I noticed this without difficulty due to their comings and goings, even before we entered the house. So before they entered, they observed the spirits coming in and out, in and out. We entered without those unfortunate discarnate spirits noticing our presence because of the low vibrational level that characterizes their perception. So the lower spirits cannot see the higher spirits. The family made up of the widow, 3 children, and the elderly couple sat around the dining table in front of a very simple lunch. So the spirits are not there to eat. I mean, per se, like, oh, they are having like a lot of food. So it's like, okay, simple lunch. Children, widow, the elderly couple. And then a phenomenon that I had never seen before marred my observation. 6 discarnate spirits joined them at the meal, if they were taking in nourishment by absorption. So visualize 6 incarnated people, and then, so you have 12. Next time you sit at your table, think. You think you're by yourself? That's a rule. Who is eating with us? Oh my God, I cried out. That's another language, just like us. Oh my God, is that real? Discarnate sitting at the table, and then people may say, you guys, it's fiction. This is not existent. Okay, we forgive those who don't believe it, who don't understand it, but we know it's real. Alexander calmly said, my friend, the pictures of mental degradation, ignorance, and suffering in homes lacking a religious foundation are immense. How many homes do you know where people are not sincerely religious? Because some people say they're religious, but they don't actually practice. We cannot judge, but we're just saying, does our home have a sincere religious foundation? Because where there is not, we're constantly surrounded by many. Where there is no spiritual organization, there are no defenses for peace of mind. This is intuitive for all who value righteous thinking. Those who discarnate in a state of excessive attachment to those whom they have left behind almost always remain connected to the house, the former home, situations, and the family's vital fluids. They eat with their relatives. They sleep in the same rooms where they left their physical bodies. And Andre Luiz is asked, but do they really eat enjoying the same flavors? Are you so surprised, Andre, at seeing them taking in food only by inhaling it? Of course, they don't have forks and knives. They're going to absorb the vital fluids. What about us? Says Alexander. Are you perchance unaware of the fact that incarnate humans receive more than 70% of their normal nourishment from the earth? It goes on and on and on by explaining, and we ask ourselves, who is eating with us at our table every day? You work at your table where you eat. Be prepared to eat your problems and get sick. And share that with the whole family. Getting everybody sick. You work at your house. I know during the pandemic we were forced to, but now we're no longer. But if you still work in your house, make sure your work is very elevated. Is helping people. Because if the work is really down to earth, especially finances, we are bringing all those problems of all the people who have the money into our home, and then we'll be what will be. Go to work. Go with the rest of the people. People go to concerts. They take off their masks. And they say, I don't want to go to work and have COVID. You just went to a concert without your mask. You went to a restaurant, you took off your mask, but you can't go to work? Or to a spiritist center? It doesn't make any sense. We need to learn how to be in relationships. Some people don't want to be presentially anymore because they don't master relationships. But why are we reincarnated? To learn to communicate, to master relationships. We can't be robotic. Do our work like a robot. No. You need to be tolerant with people, to be kind with people, to be understanding. So go to work presentially. Because our break is over. Is over. We had 2 years of a break to fix home. And now we need to go back to the other part of our home. But to bring that to our home, especially to the dining table, it's risky. Don't work in the table where you eat. Those two do not. Well, Major Alexander knows more than me. He says, the family table is always a receptacle for influences of an invisible nature. If individuals use it while thinking of the good, and now I'm sorry, but our material work is not there yet, unless you are a healthcare provider. But for everything else, it's not. Spirit workers close by come and take part in the blessed field of good thoughts. If the family remains on a higher plane, rendering worship to the higher experiences of life, the guides of spiritual enlightenment will come closer, casting onto the ground of constructive conversation the seeds of new ideas, which will then grow with the sublime beauty of spontaneity. However, by the same provisions of the law of affinity, slanderous conversation will attract invisible slanderers. If I sit down at our family table and in our time with the family, whomever is there, we are talking about other people's lives, just because we say, no, it's not gossiping, I'm just talking about what's going to happen. I'll connect two minds just alike. The superior spirits don't spend time with us in those conversations. While sarcasm, people think sarcasm is just like, I was just kidding. No, that's sour. And adults love to be sarcastic with children, right? It's so unfair. They love to be sarcastic. And it's not alone. They're not alone. Sarcasm will, of course, draw mocking and sarcastic spirits who will inspire undignified tales, opening up a vast room for frivolousness and disturbance. But he's now talking about the 6 discarnates. Who are they? These sad individuals have attracted their like-minded discarnate relatives. So the 6 discarnates are relatives of those who are incarnated. It is called mutual vampirism. Vampire? But they are reciprocally doing this to one another. How come? So Major Alexander says to Andre Luiz, listen to their conversation. So the old ant starts saying the following: I never thought I would have so much to suffer. Agostino and I worked so hard our lives when we were younger. Now we are here, old and lacking the resources to face life, and we are a burden on our poor widowed niece. What a dreadful fate. If you listen to a comment like this, does it sound anything terrible? No, right? So common on earth. But this is the type of conversation that attracts bad spirits. And who are they? Relatives of ours who join us, and then instead of us feeling energized, we feel more depressed. He says that, and then the old man says, that's for sure, for such a hard-working life. What a bitter reward. Self-pity. So self-pity conversations around the table, no good. If we have to do it with Jesus. But not at the table, because it's going to attract a lot of bad spirits. And then they go on, and Alexander was looking at it, and he noticed that the widow, the woman, was more like connected to God, so he inspired her to tell everybody. Through her words, he spoke. Thanks to Providence, I woke up this morning feeling more comforted. I dreamed of our cousin and the presence of a heavenly messenger. And then the kids were like, oh, Mommy, tell us more, tell us more. So basically, they're observing the scenario, trying to help the family. They're like, where's Raul, the husband? He's not there. So they go around the neighborhood, and every neighborhood has spirit friends who is helping the neighborhoods. So he goes and asks one of the kind of spiritual guards, let's say this. So you remember Raul? He said, yes, we were following his life. But you know what happened? Since he committed suicide, the group of the gang of bad spirits took him away. We couldn't help him. And then Alexander and Andre Luiz were surprised, like, suicide? No. I think, he committed suicide. So they go find Raul. And they are able to rescue him. And now they get to know why Raul committed suicide. When he was younger, he had a friend named Noah. And his wife was his friend's fiancée. He fell in love with his friend's fiancée. He had a plan in mind. I'm gonna have her for my bride. Nobody will know. He killed his friend, and everybody thought it was suicide. And then he approached the friend's fiancée, consoled her, and she became his wife. He lived his life always thinking about the misdeed. There was a moment in his life he couldn't take the guilt anymore. He killed his own life. So at this point, we're asking ourselves, how are we dealing with guilt? Because we all, if we haven't done anything at that level, we have done other things, then we may not feel comfortable. How are we resolving that guilt? Because if we don't, it's going to haunt us, attracting spirits that will lead us into bad decisions. So it's important to find spiritual, psychological help to deal with guilt before we discarnate. In Raul's case, he had no religious foundation. He killed himself. The beauty of the chapter is that later, as they take him to the spiritual hospital, they help Raul and they prepare him to meet his wife. She comes during sleep time, but he's told, do not tell her about your suicide. She's not ready to know. Do not show her your wound. So they found a way to cover the wound. If you want to help yourself, you need to start helping your family. So his wife comes. She feels deeply moved. They talk, and all he says is, my dear, stay strong, faithful to God. Our love is true. We are going to find a way to be reunited later. She goes back after the sleep time, wakes up, tells the family, and the whole family feels more rejoiced. But you think that's the help? No, you ask for one thing and God gives us 10. It's amazing, because not only she saw her husband, she got to know of his status and was consoled. But the good spirits found somebody in the spiritual realm to be with her for 2 weeks to help her organize her finances and to find a way to restore the harmony of the home. So after 2 weeks, there are less inferior spirits in the house. The house is more harmonized, and the spirit helper finds somebody who can come and help her, materially speaking. This chapter is telling each one of us our prayers are answered. The good spirits always go above and beyond the call of their duty. On our side, we need to have sincere affection, to be truly prayerful, dutiful, and avoid changing our dynamics at home. Using the table when you eat, pray. Even if it is saying, thank you, God, for this meal. Use that time with the family more wisely. Don't sit around a table talking about 10,000 things that are not elevated. And let us deal with the guilt we have in us. Because if we don't deal with our guilt, we may be connecting to minds that will use our guilt to create a lot of problems for us and our family members. So for those who are here on the internet asking which book is this and you came halfway through, this book is Missionaries of the Light by Andre Luiz through Chico Xavier, okay? So we have it here in the Kindle version, and we would recommend to everybody to get the book, read these books. Why? These books were not written for us to study. It's to help us live better. So this year, every Sunday, we're taking a glance at some of Andre Luiz' books. We would recommend for all of us to go home, read these books, 16 books. Think about it. Watch the movie No Solar. It's on Prime Video. Our children team right now are studying those books right here in the center. 16 books. The book In Life Goes On is also there. Read, study, share with people to live a better life. Does anybody here have a comment or a question, or even here in our online? Thank you, Erica. Yes, John.
Deal with guilt. Be honest about what happened. Ask for forgiveness. And then set it aside and don't revisit it again. Do it once. And put it out of your mind.
That's a good point. How do we take a memory that we formed that is imprinted not only in our physical brain, but the spiritual brain? How do we deal? Because ideally, how do we go from where we are to being a pure spirit like Jesus and have everything from the past organized in ourselves? Think of a computer. And then we may understand the steps into that. You go to your computer and there is a trash can named, trash can? No, recycling bin. Why? Those who work in computer, they know that you don't trash anything, you just recycle. It doesn't disappear, it's got to recycle. Even here, we're learning about recycling our trash. Where do you trash? There's no place on earth where you trash things. It's going to be recycled, either by nature or by some company. So nothing gets lost. So how do you evolve and deal with the things that were a misdeed? There is a study that was done in the United States with Army veterans who presented post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. They learned To their surprise, the scientists got to know that you can displace a bad memory, a traumatic memory, by creating good memories. So how do we deal with guilt? By doing the good. But it's not a small good. It's a significant good. One that will tell us we're different. Like, changes our lives. Mary Magdalene is our example. Paul of Tarsus is our example. Paul of Tarsus made a huge mistake. Huge. How did he deal with his guilt? By working for 30 years non-stop with his own conscience. He left that life. If he kept on being a Pharisee and just saying, yeah, I believe in Christ, I'm going to try to change it here with my friends, but I'm going to keep everything in place, he wouldn't have succeeded. He had to change completely. To deal with guilt, that memory that is bothering us, we need to make so much more good memories to displace that bad memory out of our mental field. Recycle it. Because it doesn't disappear.
Overwhelmingly do the good, so you don't have no room to remember the bad.
Yes. Overwhelmingly, as you said, John. Very wisely. So we have a lot of food for thought today, right? Yes, Vera.
Most of these books are free, PDF free, online. You just put the name because according to intellectual property, after 50 years they are free. So you can get free of charge.
Yes.
Because Kindle you have to pay.
Yeah.
And that one is free.
In Portuguese,
Portuguese and English.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you find it, you have to.
Federação Espírita has a library and other places. I got many of them.
Yeah.
And I saved in my computer.
Yes. Thank you, Vera. So, friends, let us think about this. It's a lot of food for thought, but I feel this message is so hopeful to all of us, bringing to us the certainty that we're never alone, that we are always being cared for, but it's on us to adjust. Let us feel this invitation, and let us now receive the passes while we'll be listening to this beautiful visualization named Encounter with Jesus. Joanna de Angelis brought this through Divaldo Franco, and we brought it in this CD with the voice by Greg Stewart. We hope during this time we can feel this therapeutic encounter to balance ourselves, to feel how the good spirits really love us and know exactly what we need, okay?
You already know how to conduct yourself. Let us begin this new visualization. A good position. Breathe. Always slowly. As you breathe, relax. Let go of all of your tensions. Allow your body to release you. Spirit. The only way you can do this is by relaxing. Begin relaxing. As you breathe in a tranquil rhythm. Modern life causes us many pressures of a psychosocial nature. that make us lose our harmony. Conflicts of various origins that unbalance us. Difficulties, which are in fact existential challenges that discourage us. But now, you will be able to free yourself from all these afflictions by sending to your unconscious and a mental reprogramming everything that is necessary for a healthy and harmonious existence. Visualize a mountain. Visualize a mountain, or a mount, or a range of mountains, whatever is familiar to you. Visualize it. Now, transfer yourself there. It is nighttime, and nature is festive. And you are at the top of the mountain. Let your eyes drop and reach the horizon. And you can still notice the last rays of sunshine. Note the other mountains are already in darkness. And the sky full of stars. Observe. You are alone. We are rarely alone. And now, you are alone. Alone with God. God fills the universe and is beyond it. At this moment, you can feel him closer. Let him penetrate you. At a distance, you can hear the music made by the wind, the various sounds of nature. And you are all alone on this immense mountain, or in the place of your choice. Walk slowly, absorbing the oxygen, nature's purest and most rarefied oxygen. Breathe it in. Let yourself be filled by this blessing that maintains organic life, all life on earth. Breathe in gently. Hold it. Breathe out. Look at the sky once again. You might identify some of the stars if you are familiar with them. But taking your eyes down in a straight line, you can see in front of you, at a long distance, a star that is moving. You can see a moving star. Observe it. It is shining brightly. It is coming towards you, and you are dazzled as you contemplate it. It is coming closer and closer. And now, it's only yards away. It has the size of a human body, and it has become one. Observe this body, the long robes, the white material, the stoic head, surrounded by hair with combs of a honey-colored light, or a golden color. The beard over the slim chest, mixed with his hair. The strong nose. Observe the lips, full lips, slightly open, and the eyes like two torches. The ample forehead. You know him. It is Jesus. It is Jesus who has come closer to you. Observe him. There he is. He comes a little closer, and you see him in all his glory, irradiating a gentle light. He looks at you. The expression is one of tenderness. There is an air of melancholy, and he emanates much love. He seems to say to you without words, ask me for something. I have come to help you. Ask me for something. This is a moment, a very important moment in your life. Don't ask for trivial things. Meditate on something with great meaning, something profound, something great. And when I count to 3, ask him for it. Be brief, without justifications, without explanations. Think about what you will request. Think about it. Now, I will count. 1, 2, 3. Now, ask him. He has already registered your request, and he opens his arms, coming closer to you to embrace you. Embrace him. Embrace him. He melts in your arms and goes into you, disappearing within you. Remember that he said, I am the life. And he is within you now, impregnating your immortal and triumphant spirit. Do not become melancholic anymore. Do not think about possible future disappointments. Do not allow yourself to hold unjustified, tormenting ideas. He is within you. So say this: I am life, and a triumphant life. Say again, and once again. Say, I am happiness in life. Repeat it. I am fulfilled, and so I shall remain. Look at yourself. You are irradiating His light. Again, look at yourself. You are irradiating His light. Breathe it. Hold it. Breathe out. Say to yourself, nothing of a disturbing nature deserves my attention. When I return to the objective reality, I will conserve the presence of Jesus within me, and I shall be healthy, happy. Even when I'm faced with the struggles of evolution, in view of the challenges, I will remain healthy as I am now. Project this onto your conscious mind and reprogram your life. You deserve to be happy, and you are happy. Now, it is time to come back. Come back to the place where your body is. Come back. Take it totally. Feel its organic sensations. Keeping your eyes closed. Breathe in. Hold it. Breathe out. Listen to the music in the air. Hear it. Open your eyes. Feel the sensation of well-being that you retain. Gently move. If you want to, you can yawn. You can stretch. Or whatever there might be, never lose touch with the sensation of well-being that you have brought back from the mountain or from the mountain where you were. Hold on to this sensation and repeat the experience periodically, helping Jesus to answer your request. Through a positive attitude, an idealistic mind, a pacified heart, and thanks to the interchange for the better that you will make in this very existence so that you can be happy.
Now we'll say our prayer, thanking you, dear Master Jesus, for being with us always, for listening to our deepest requests, and for blessing our lives. May we in turn stay joyful in love and charity. May your illuminated presence be felt inside of us, and we be encouraged to press on, for we know that this reincarnation is the most precious we've ever had. May today we be closer to you than yesterday, as we also work diligently to fulfill God's will on earth as it already is in heaven. With your blessings, we close this service today in deep gratitude, and so be it. So, as John and Paloma, right, are going to distribute the water, just want to remind everyone who is on the internet or elsewhere, there is a Cardiac Radio app. You can connect, listen to the radio for times in which you cannot watch anything, you can listen to it. So for those who are there, thank you, friends. See you next time.